Hello, I'm Jeff Bloodring, and welcome to Bloody Painter Dating Sim. So, as you saw in the content warning, user discretion is advised. At any point, there is bad and good endings, but at any point where, if I feel I have to, censor this game due to YouTube, I will. But, I found this game on itchy.io, and that's where I was going to originally play it until I found it on Steam. And this was intended to also be a part of Second Valentine Nightmares, and it was supposed to be a part of the after special, Tales of Second Valentine Nightmares, but I didn't get around to actually playing it till this now. We've done like 7 episodes of Doki Doki Literature Club, and I felt it was time to take a break from that game and put it on hold. So we will be playing this game, and hopefully not get into any trouble that might get us, hopefully not get this game to any point where it might get taken down by YouTube. And that was loud. Ugh. With a severe headache, you wake up in an unfamiliar place. As you touch the bruise on the back of your head, it seems you were hit by something heavy before you lost consciousness. A heavy iron chain tied around your feet. Someone has trapped you here. How did we get here? I don't know if we're just randomly starting out like this. In this end, that means I don't doubt there's at any point in the game where we actually get to see how we ended up here. You try to remember what happened before you lost consciousness, but you can't recall anything. Let's investigate the surroundings first. Alright. So we got this. We can investigate the wall, we can investigate the cell phone, the mattress, the meal, or the door. Hey, we have no service. No signal. Well, that's expected if you're in a room like this. I might be in a remote place or underground. Alright, where to investigate next? Let's investigate the mattress. There's a mattress on the floor. The mattress feels really hard to lie on. Where to investigate next? This feels like something that would be perfect for us. 10th Fragment, but unfortunately it is a horror romance game, so. Alright, so let's go with the meal. Near the door, there's a serving of spaghetti with tomato sauce and a bottle of water. Is it really tomato sauce? Also, a round plastic fork that's completely harmless was thoughtfully attached. It's still warm. It feels like it was sent here not long ago. Alright, where to investigate next? So we did the cell phone, the mattress, the meal. Now let's do the wall. The room is surrounded by 4 walls without any windows. It's weirdly cleaned up, and no ashes or sand can be found. Looks like a prison built by a germaphobe. Where to investigate next? Well, the only other thing we can investigate is the door. You peek through the keyhole, but you see nothing outside. I wonder where I am. In the void. We're going to investigate next. Well, we can't investigate anything else, so we have to go to sleep. Or end the investigation. What's the next move? Let's go to bed. We've done all we can do. Yeah, it said think again. You lay on the bed. You try to sleep under this condition. Maybe it's the fatigue caused by nervousness, but you still fall asleep. And the door quickly opens with a bunch of question marks. You open your eyes after hearing some noises. Who are you? A tall man wearing a mask is squatting over the ground, on the ground, looking at you with his head tilted. He remains silent, as if he is sizing up his prey. Well, he's gonna size up my fist in his face in a minute. I'll knock that smug, painted smile off your face. He points to the plate on the floor, like indicating that you should finish your meal. Yeah, I ain't finishing anything you cook up. Thinking that the strange man might have poisoned the meal, you shake your head in fear. Seeing he probably did poison it. Don't you hit me. Seeing you have no intention of eating, he looks quite distressed.
You can't die.
Yes, I can.
Not now.
And what are you going to do about it? He slowly speaks with a deep and steady voice.
The freezer is full.
Your face is going to be full of my fist in about 2 minutes. What does that mean?
The freezer is full.
Yes, I get it. The freezer's full.
No space for more. 7 days.
7 days? Maybe I shouldn't have watched the tape. Is this the ring? He pauses and thinks.
There won't be
Well, don't think too hard. You might hurt yourself.
until
You might hurt that little one blue eye you have. Yeah. There won't be a space till 7 days.
now. You'll rot.
How about you? How about I rot you with my fist? How about that? What do you mean? So I only have 7 days left to live? How did we end up in here? Is he like a obsessed fan of ours or something? He nods and walks out the door. Wait, you can't just leave me here like this, please. But you need oil in that thing. Your cries can't stop the door from closing. Day 1. So now this is Granny. Let's investigate the surroundings first. So we can either do the meal, the door, or we can sleep. Let's investigate the door. You peek outside from the keyhole. You see the shadow of the man walking around. Seems to be busy with something. What is he doing? Well, let's investigate the bread here. I'm not eating anything you make, buddy, so you might as well just stop it. And bread and a bottle of water. Yeah, that's bread and water. Yeah. Alright. Go to bed, bye. Betty, bye. Please try to improve your survival rate within 7 days. Day 2, morning. How do we know what day it is? Or what time it is? There's no, windows. Let's investigate and look around. Alright, well, there's nothing here, so we can't investigate anything. Meal-wise, looks like the bread was taken. You check the keyhole. You see something. You seem to see something. You see that there is a vague figure at the end of the door. Observe and keep quiet and yell for help. Yelling for help is probably going to end poorly for us, so. You sense something wrong and realize what it is after narrowing your eyes. This is an artwork made of the human body, not a human being. Sarcastically, I say, you really think that scared me? I've played enough war games, buddy, to know when to be scared. You hear the door open. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky door. You slowly push the door, and there's no trace of the strange man. Maybe it was all just a dream. First, you go into the room with a large freezer, sink, and operating table. Then you open another heavy door. You find yourself in a room full of glass display jars. Gross. The jars are filled with specimens made from human body parts. Gross. It looks like you're in an art museum. Are we? Could it be that he wanted to freeze me as as material for specimen artwork, you're thinking. You see this scene. F, run away, admire the artworks. Let's admire the lovely artworks. You look around and admire his work with relish. You look at them for 15 minutes straight.
Interesting.
The fact that your anonymous voices comes out of nowhere. You hear a voice coming from the corner. Get that smug smile out of here. It turns out the man has been watching you from a blind spot behind the glass cabinet. I like them. They're so beautiful. The man goes silent with his head tilted for a couple of seconds after hearing your comment. He seems to be thinking about something.
Don't you consider it cruel or bloodthirsty to them?
No, but you're gonna consider my fist in your face in about 2 minutes. No, I feel nothing at all. Okay.
You're such a weirdo.
You think, aren't you talking about yourself? After you have a tour in his display room, he locks you back in the small room where you were in. You go to sleep to end the day. Your survival rate increases. Woohoo. Day 3. Night. We're hungry. Until noon, you don't see breakfast or lunch being delivered. You're already starving. You're waiting for him to bring dinner, but what you get is not dinner. Instead, we get a welcoming opening by the door. Instead, you hear the door was opened. A light shines through the crack of the half door, looking like an intriguing invitation. You open the door and walk into the light. Walk into that light. You first arrive at the room with an operating table. At the room with the operating table outside of the door. But this time, the operating table is not empty. There's a defrosted human corpse on it. Gross. The man pops out of somewhere. He unties the iron chains from your feet and hands the surgical knife in his hands to you.
First,
I'm going to use this on you.
where do you think the first cut should be?
Why are you asking me? You're the doctor here. His voice tone sounds cold, like the kind of teacher who gives students hard questions on purpose. Oh my gosh. Attack him with the surgical knife? Yeah, that's not going to end well for us, is it? Can't do it. Gross. Maybe beautiful works always come with some sacrifices. Ew. That sound. Without hesitation, you stab the abdomen of the corpse with the knife. But due to lack of professionalism, you turn around and stab him with the handle, right in the eyeball. The lines you cut are crooked and ugly. And this is when he gets close behind your back and holds your hand. Romantic. You're both holding the surgical knife, like you two are cutting a cake together. No. With his hands, I just want to take the handle, just crack him one. With his hands, the lines you cut become smooth and clean. Or at least we don't get to see it. You can smell an ocean perfume on him due to how close you are. It seems to be sprayed to cover up the smell of formalin. You can feel his warmth with your back, but his fingers are a little cold. He's focusing on cutting the corpse, and your hand keeps moving around his head, around under his lead. Oh, I can't read. He could have killed you or ignored you, but he didn't. You start to speculate on the purpose of his behaviors. Could it be that he wants someone who can ignore the cruelty in process and understand him? Yeah, I'd rather not understand him. You think. After the happy creative time ends, you're locked in the room where you were in. You go to sleep to end the day. At least we didn't get to see it. Day 4, noon. No food still. Until noon, you don't see breakfast or lunch being delivered. And I'm hungry again still. You are already starving. You notice something is shining at the corner. He gave us a key. A key. It seems like the man accidentally dropped it. Now we can escape. Last night. Did he drop it or did he do it on purpose? You open the door with the key. You go past the operating table, where you two spent creative time together last night. Yeah, you call that creative time, huh? The display room. Then you discover that there are unnatural, uneven marks from the one wall to the corner. Yeah. You find a trap door. After pushing the trap door, you see a normal basement storage room. At the corner of the storage room, you see a staircase that goes up. I think once we figure out what's in this area, we'll probably close out the episode. It turns out that this is really an underground secret room. So we're in this basement? Hidden layer by layer with trap door. No wonder the sound insulation is so good. Jeez, he's got loud doors in his base or whatever we are in. You walk up the stairs. Well, those are the loud stairs apparently. You walk up the stairs and see a heavy wooden board and a bright light. You push it hard. You know, is that him? Right there? That him right there? That's him. You know, someone who's unhinged or creepy or all of the above, he lives in a nice cabin. So we're in the woods, apparently. What catches your eye is the interior of a cozy cabin in the woods. Then you realize the heavy wooden board you just pushed is the back of a bookcase. You look around and find that there are insect specimens everywhere in the cabin, and there is also a reindeer head specimen hanging on the wall. So I'm assuming this is him right here, obviously, and this is either his dad or his brother. Then you walk into the living room. You see a young handsome man, face and pale, lying on the sofa. Mom, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that he's the guy that in the mask, because it's the same like clothes and everything. So, all right, we'll read a couple more. The ocean-scented perfume and the faint smell of formalin from his body. Yeah, it's this guy. Same guy. It's him. He is the masked man who kidnapped you, but he is not wearing a mask at this time. His sleeping face has a ferocious expression. His neck is sweating and he seems to be trembling. It looks like he's sick. Well, that's what you get for operating on stuff that you're not supposed to be operating on. At this time, you decide to take the opportunity to escape, stay and take care of him. Why would we stay and take care of him? He could suffer. You can't bear to leave him alone, so you reach out and touch his forehead. We're gonna fall in love. Then obey the content warning. Don't fall in love with a serial killer. Whoa, so hot. Ew. You try to find something that can cool him down. Let's investigate. Living room, kitchen, and investigation. Let's try the kitchen. Nice kitchen. The kitchen is spotlessly clean. So, he's a deranged loony, and he's a germaphobe. Those two don't add up. The fridge. Or the cabinet. Let's open up the fridgey first. There's some ice cubes in it. Alright, we're gonna have to close out the episode here soon. These can cool down his body temperature. Alright, look in the cabin or look in the cabin. You find some clean towels in the kitchen cabinet. I can soak a towel in ice water and place it on the patient's forehead to cool him down. So he's the guy in the mask and yet he's sick. Yeah, because you can tell there's his coat right there. Alright, an investigation because there's really nothing else to look here at. Yes, I'm sure. Alright. Alright, let's check the living room. Alright. We'll read and then we'll call an episode. The living room is spotlessly clean. Where to investigate next? Holy heck, we got a lot of areas to investigate. But with that being said, we are going to close out this episode of Bloody Painter Dating Sim. I hope you guys had fun. I've been Jeff Budwin. I hope you guys had fun, and I'll see you next time.